Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's about 1 o'clock on Thursday, the 12th of November. Pastor Tim here, and I'm wearing the same clothes that I wore yesterday as part of day 4 of the Matthew 25 Challenge. And I'm here with Marty Guthmiller, VP of our consistory, with another brief update with regard to how we're running things at church in light of the continued spread of COVID in our community. I'm going to just kind of give you the overview here, and then Marty will share with you a little bit about the facts and thoughts that went into that decision that was made by our board of elders this week. We've decided, in light of the guidance issued by Community Health Partners and our 4 local hospitals, that First Reformed Church will have a mask mandate that extends through 2 weeks. So we're talking about this coming Sunday the 15th, the next Wednesday night, and then the following midweek, all the way through Sunday the 22nd. We're going to require masks at our gatherings in church. This follows the guidelines that suggest any group over 25 that's indoors needs to be masked. So this will involve Sunday worship. It will involve Wednesday night programming. So from the time you get into the church building until the time you leave, unless you are in the front of the church leading in worship, or unless you happen to be eating or drinking and lower your mask while you're doing that, you need to keep your mask up. Now, some of you feel so strongly about not masking, you'd like to preach this Sunday, then you can come to the platform and do that. Otherwise, I'm planning on leading, because this also has impacted our adoption, our sponsorship event called Chosen with World Vision. In light of the spread here, we determined that it really was not safe to have World Vision folks join us here in Orange City. They agreed with that decision. And so while we continue with the Matthew 25 poverty simulation and the sermon on Sunday, we are moving that opportunity to sponsor children in Kenya to the spring. So I'd love it if you'd circle on your calendar April 11. April 11 is right after Easter, and so that fits into our traditional window for mission emphasis at First Reformed Church. And so we will be having a great big experience with World Vision on April 11. But this was a decision made by consensus of our elders, and sort of an emergency meeting that we had this week. And Marty's here to share with you a little bit of the different scientific data and sociological pattern stuff that we've been observing that went into that decision.
Sure, thanks, Pastor Tim. And I would just like to affirm the moving the World Vision event to the spring. The elder board felt so strongly that this was such a good program that we wanted to give it 100% of our effort. And not only is it the safer thing to do from World Vision standpoint, as well as our congregates, it's the best thing to do. If we have 25 or 30 people sign up, if we had it this weekend, we're going to have 125 next spring. It's worth the wait. And so we really feel that it was significantly important to move that to a time where we could have the greatest impact. These are not simple times. There is no playbook. I wish there was a 5-step process to running a church in a global pandemic, but there's not. And so we're moving along as best we can with the information that we can. The safety of the congregation is at our primary thought and our primary focus. And it's not just the physical safety, but it's the spiritual well-being also that we're very concerned about, and certainly was taken into effect with the elders when we met earlier this week. We basically looked at 3 options that we could do. The first was simply do nothing, just go about our business. I look at that as the sticking your head in the sand approach. Let's just forget about the world around us. Well, in today's environment, where yesterday in Sioux County, the positivity rate was almost 50%, you cannot bury your head in the sand. You cannot ignore this and be socially responsible, be any kind of responsible for that matter. So the first option was simply to do nothing. we ruled that out fairly quickly. The next option would be to just have a 2-week shutdown. Again, this is where we looked at the spiritual well-being of our congregates, the fact that some people do have immunity at this point. Some people would choose to be there. Some people are at low risk to be in church. Just the benefit of having that as an option was considered in moving away from the shutdown option, where we did not want to do that. We wanted to bring people in and have people the opportunity to choose. That's where we came back to say, well, what if we would agree to voluntarily participate in the masking situation that, like the governor has spelled out? And we really felt that that was the best compromise position to have. With that, please understand that masking does not make one bulletproof. And we're still concerned about people in the high risk category, specifically those who might just be a little bit older than I am, but close, 65 and up. We would really caution your appropriateness of attending, quite frankly, in today's environment. But we ask you to consider that, to think about it. But when you are in church, we do ask you to wear your mask. Again, we are not the Gestapo. We are not going to police harshly this. If you don't have a mask, we're going to provide one for you. We're not going to forcibly put it on you, but we're going to ask you to honor the biblical authority granted to the elder board in making this directive, and ask you to honor that and ask you to adhere to the rules for the next 2 weeks. Is it perfect? No. Does it do our part into trying to flatten the curve? Yes, we believe it does. And so that's the decision that we came to. It was not done lightly, but in today's environment, we just felt that it was really the prudent thing to do. And we hope that we understand that the virus doesn't function any differently in a church sanctuary than it does in an event center. So from a medical and scientific standpoint, it doesn't make any sense to mask when you're at an event center project or event and not mask in church. Medically and scientifically, it's the same virus. So we ask for your understanding. We pray for better results. We pray for the virus to begin diminishing. But again, as I did a briefing today earlier, the numbers are still climbing and climbing across the state. And I've talked to someone who reported on the Omaha market. And again, the Omaha market is really tight, getting really tight. And so we're in this for a little while, and I think we need to do all we can to flatten the curve. So I'll stop with that, Pastor Tim.
That's great information and so helpful. And Marty, I would just applaud your leadership in our community and for our board too, because we talk these issues in circles, and there's a lot of, yeah, but I can see it the other way. Well, yeah, I can see it that way too. And so at some point our elders had to arrive at a decision, and I'm proud of them. I'm just honored to be part of this consistory that they were able to reach this decision. We've been doing really well as a church. We were the only church that was kind of spread with two vacant rows between every filled row. We had that opportunity. We've had a good plan. It's just time to take the plan to the next level. And I just want to say that every day, almost, I get texts from pastors around the country wondering how to navigate the issue of masks, because their churches are bitterly divided on masks. And I really believe First Reformed Church isn't like that. I think that we're a congregation that can come together for a couple weeks and deal with the inconvenience of the elastic and the cloth, because we see ourselves as good citizens and good civic partners, and we really want to honor our healthcare providers and those who stand in need. Marty, I'm not sure how many people know this, but I think it's just kind of a cool thing that our church today sponsored a pizza party for workers in the Orange City area health system to say thank you to them. You and First Reformed Church, through your representatives on consistory, said we want to honor the people serving on our behalf, those frontline workers. And this is just another way we can do it. We love Orange City. We love Sioux County. And we're willing to take these measures if it protects lives and supports those who serve us in those roles.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just take the opportunity to thank First Church for that very kind gesture. Pizza is pizza, right? But pizza given from the heart, pizza given for the reason that it was given, means an incredible amount. And that pizza on a Friday night at 6:30, that when somebody didn't have time to break, that's just a great thing. That pizza in the nursing home, where our staffers there are under incredible pressure because of the stress on the residents. That means so much, and so that the sentiment is greatly appreciated by us all within the health system. So thank you.
So if there are any further questions about what we expect with masks for kids, you're going to be getting communications from other people on staff to clarify what this means, for instance, for Promise Kids and Sunday school and things like that. So if you're involved in those ministries, keep an eye out on the app, and your email will be getting through to you with any specifics. And please do send us an email here at church or give us a phone call. We'd be happy to help with those kind of things as well. But just the bottom line, you need to wear a mask when you're in the building this coming Sunday, the 15th. This coming Wednesday, and then also Sunday the 22nd, and we will reevaluate after the 22nd to see how it pertains to our Thanksgiving Eve service, which is 2 weeks from today, the 26th. Next 2 weeks from yesterday, the 25th, technically, it's a Thanksgiving Eve service. We'll get back to you on that at that time. Until then, again, we are united in our mission to glorify God, to know Christ, and to make Him known. And no mask can ever come in between us and that call that Christ has placed upon us as a congregation. So we're hopeful, we're optimistic, we're committed, we're prayerful, and we're going to get through this. And again, Marty and I are honored to serve and lead in this season as always. With that, we just wish you God goodwill and a wonderful remainder to your Thursday.
Thanks, everyone.